Welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. I'm your host, Mason Kinnahan, and today I am joined by the one and only Josh Taylor to break down and preview Washington's upcoming Week 1 matchup against the New York Giants. Commanders football is back. I'm excited for it. Josh, I know you're excited for it. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. I feel like we're a little bit more optimistic after watching that Eagles
Yes.
and Cowboys game. I think both teams are beatable. I think Dak looked good, but that Eagles defense, which has been the staple outside of Saquon, of course, the NFC East is going to be fun this year, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. That game last night went super long with the
Yeah.
rain delay, and we're recording this Friday morning. It's great. But Washington and the Giants, this is a game we're here to talk about today. And 1 o'clock on Sunday, Washington will play host to the New York Giants. Washington last season, coming off their best season, of course, since 1991, made it to the NFC Championship game in year one with Dan Quinn and Jane Daniels, that era. Second year now for the Peters, Quinn, Daniels era. Expectations are high, like you mentioned, for the first time in what has felt like a long time
Yeah.
for this team. So there's a lot of expectations on this team, and how is this team going to respond? This is a game where Washington is going to come in as heavy favorites against this Giants team. We're coming off a 3-14 year last year, top 5 draft pick for them. This is a big opportunity for Washington, who has a harder schedule, you could say, this year than definitely last year, to get off to a good start. You've got a easier matchup. Not all matchups, are easy in the NFL, but you've got an easier matchup this week. What are your initial thoughts here heading into this Week 1 matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectations are high. Don't tell Jaden Daniels that, but he just doesn't listen. He's like, whatever. He's like, are they? He cracks me up. I love his press conferences. So I think there's a lot of unknowns with this team. A lot of positions. What's the running back committee gonna look like? What's Will Harris gonna look like? Is the run defense gonna be better? Is it going to take some time for the secondary to settle in? They haven't actually played a game together with everybody out there at the same time. You have that communication. So there's just a lot of unknowns, but I feel good about this one because, like you said, they open up as 6.5-point favorites. They're 7-2 at home last year, and of course they're playing at home to start the year, so that kind of makes it easier. You're not going to Brazil or something crazy to start the
Yes.
year, which
I'll
which
take
would
that. I'll
suck.
take
Yeah,
that.
absolutely, all day. So I do feel good about this, but it is the Giants, and they have done their own moves. They've got Russ, who beat us last year with the Steelers, which shouldn't have happened in the first place. But then Abdul Carter, Cam Scatterbo, there's a lot going on in New York. Of course, Jackson Dart as well. I don't think we'll see him on Sunday. But I think there's a lot of unknowns from both sides, and it's an NFC East matchup. Like we saw last night, people thought the Eagles were going to blow out the Cowboys. They had every opportunity. If CeeDee Lamb doesn't drop 3 crazy catches at the end of the game, the Cowboys probably win that one, and we're stepping back okay, this is going to be a crazy season. So I just want people to remember that. It is the Giants. We did sweep them last year, but anything can happen in the NFC East.
Yeah, it is a divisional game at the end of the day, and we've seen divisional games go either way. Even if a team is, at the end of the year, there was definitely moments where the Cowboys, were 11, 12 win teams, and Washington was just on a dreadful losing streak, and Washington was able to win that divisional game. So I know this is early on in the season, but the Giants are a good team, especially that defensive side. And for Washington, like you mentioned, there's a lot of new faces, and we haven't really seen everyone on the field yet together. So we didn't see in the offense, we didn't see Terry with Debo in that offense, and then on the defensive side, like you mentioned, Amos stayed out on the one game that where the starters played. So we haven't seen that full secondary as well, which there's a lot to be excited for. That means there's a lot to be excited for on Sunday, but there's still a lot of questions. Let's jump into Washington's offense because this is Washington's strongest unit by a good amount, in my opinion, right now, based on what we saw from last year. Cliff Kingsbury and this Washington offense was one of the most efficient offenses, top 5 in EPA per play, top 5 in, pretty much every success rate metric, all of that from last season. If Washington wins this game, I would expect it to be because this Washington offense is able to capitalize, on defensive mistakes from this Giants team. Maybe, this Washington defense is able to pick up a turnover or two. and this offense is able to capitalize. There was a lot of worries about, the lack of success from this offense in practices heading into that second preseason game. But man, that first drive with Jaden and that starting offense really, settled a lot of a lot of fans' nerves early on in the preseason. This offense for this team, Josh, is there a specific player or specific unit that you are looking forward to seeing the most, or maybe have most questions about heading into Sunday?
Yeah, I think the one I'm most excited about is Debo. I think he's a 1,200 all-purpose yards type player this season if he stays healthy.
Mhm.
10 touchdowns. Like if you tell me Josh Debo plays every single game this season, I'm like, all right, that's my expectations. Like
That's
he
awesome.
should have 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns at least. Especially seeing that they aren't going to be afraid to use him in the run game, whether it's like these jet, sweeps or kind of like these end arounds, or maybe they'll even put him in the backfield. Like we have no idea what Cliff has up his sleeve. So I feel really good about Debo. The thing I am concerned about is the running back room, just because there is a lot of unknown. And we kind of saw what happened, last year when the running game, kind of let Jaden Daniels down. He had to be the running game. So I think Sunday, Jaden Daniels will be the leading rusher. Um, Mostly because I don't think they really have an exact guy for the running back committee yet. I think it's just going to take a little while. They need to see, who does what when, who has what role, and maybe it's like first and goal. All right, Chris Rodriguez comes in, or if it's like first and 10 starting out a drive, all right, let's put Bill in, and then third down, let's put Austin Eckler in. Like maybe they are really going to just rotate everybody and just use their strengths, which it might work, but I just feel like if you don't have this consistent run game, it's gonna kill you in the long run. No pun intended. So I'm expecting Jay to be the leading rusher. I think they're going to get pressure on him. He's going to have to scramble a little bit more than we like. He's going to have to create some plays with his feet. But I want to see how that running back committee really settles out, just like everyone else in the NFL is waiting to see what happens with Bill Krosky Merritt.
Yes, yes, and you mentioned so the running back room. I agree with you. In one of your articles the other day, you got a lot of backlash for this, but I agree with you. You mentioned that you expect Chris Rodriguez to be one of the major players in that running back room early on in the season, and then of course Bill Krosky maybe to get more playing time as the season goes on. The fantasy community wasn't really happy with you
Dude,
saying that,
they
but
hated me. They
but
got like
I
almost a million hits on Twitter, bro.
yeah I agree with you
I
though.
had to mute it.
I think Chris Rodriguez is definitely going to be, surprisingly, going to be one of the lead backs for this team, or at least early on in the year
And he
for
should be,
Washington.
honestly.
Yeah, and he's performed well in the preseason. He performed well at the end of last year. He's been a very efficient running back. I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be at the end of the day. And so Rodriguez, I'm excited to see what he can do in a much larger role, because of course before he's been the RB3 that's been sometimes put in as an RB2 due to some injuries in the past, but now. I mean, he might be like 1A, 1B with Austin Eckler in terms of, what packages they want and what concepts they're going to run on Sunday. So I'm excited to see Rodriguez, what he can do, as you could maybe say he's a class, like kind of like a starter if you want to put like, two starting running backs there. But Washington last season, I mean, they ran 21 personnel, the third most out of, or the 10th, sorry, top 10 in the entire league last season. And they were the third most efficient doing so. So I would expect a lot more of that. And you also mentioned, Debo Samuel could also play a part as being, a running back, a classified running back, in the backfield, even though he's kind of a wide receiver. There's a lot of creativity that Cliff is going to have with the addition of Debo and this backfield. I would, I would definitely expect this running game to um, try and get going early on. But at the end of the day, I would definitely say Jaden is probably the most likely to be the lead rusher, just because the defensive line that the Giants have, and I don't really see a way the Giants would be able to contain Jaden if he gets outside the pocket. That could be pretty dangerous for this New York defense. Let's talk about this passing game, though, because this was something that Cliff, brought over from the college ranks in his time there. It's kind of just the quick game, tempo, high tempo offense that we saw last season, Washington was one of the fastest offenses in the NFL, and a large portion of that was because of Jaden's accuracy on these, short to intermediate throws. What are you excited to see most about this passing attack, and do you expect to see some of the same that we saw last year from this offense?
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of the same because like if
Mhm.
it's not broke, don't
Yeah,
don't try to
right.
fix it. Like you might as well. You can build on top of it. That's great, but don't feel like you have to like start over or like go into it like, oh, now people know what we're going to do. They knew what you were going to do. They still couldn't stop it, especially
Mhm.
with Terry McLaurin. But I'm glad you mentioned that short to like intermediate. And I'm not talking about like Jalen Hurts short where he only
Yeah,
threw it past 10-yard
and
line
Arson
once last
once.
night or
Yep.
whatever. But I think like the 10 to 19 range. It's very specific, but if you look at the numbers, Jaden Daniels, I think he was second in the league, only behind Lamar Jackson on those
Mhm.
throws. And it was, that those like 10 to 19-yard plays are created into like bigger plays. So when you have a Debo, that's why you brought him here. So he can catch these 10-yard throws and make them 20, 30-yard gains when people can't bring him down, or whether, Terry's going on a slant or whatever he's going to do, or a screen where he takes it to the house like he did against the Lions, like whatever. These short throws, they might not always be sexy, but they are going to be effective. And I think that is enhanced even more this year. That's just going to open up the back end too. People are going to be worried about Debo going across the middle. They're going to be playing a little bit closer than they want to. And then that's going to see Jalen Lane, streaking down a seam route or whatever, or Terry McLaurin going down the field on a 9 route. And I think just being able to attack that middle of the field, I want to see more of that this year. Not just with like Zach Ertz either. Like Zach
Mhm.
Ertz outproduced what I thought he was going to do last year. I think he's going to do it again this year. But mix it up with those Debo slants or Jalen Lane slants or little, dig routes, whatever, or even out routes to like the outside post, whatever you want to do. But take advantage of that middle, short, intermediate, part of the field. And it's going to open up even more of these big shots that Cliff talked about yesterday to Jaden and possibly Jalen Lane or Noah Brown or whoever down the field.
Mhm. Yeah, and this Giants secondary, you look at it, there's a lot of new faces here as well. You've got Paulson Adebo coming in free agency from the Saints, Javon Holland being signed from the Dolphins,
Yeah, what's he
and
going to look like?
yeah, exactly, and Tyler Newman as well. So you've got like a lot of kind of younger. It's a younger secondary with some new faces. I don't really know what to expect from the secondary, but just looking, at the depth chart, it's probably the weaker portion of this defense because this front seven and mainly the front four for the New York Giants is going to be a matchup to watch going up against Washington's offensive line. You've got Brian Burns, you've got Dexter Lawrence, you've got Abdul Carter now as well, and some may want to throw in Kayvon in there, but like at
Hey,
the end
we'll
of the
throw
day,
Kayvon in. We'll throw
we
Kayvon
can
in.
throw
Here's a
Kayvon
weird
in
guy, but we'll,
there.
we'll put him in there.
He's had his moments against Washington in the past,
Yeah.
so we'll say Kayvon as well. But this Washington offensive line got retooled over this offseason trade for Laramie Tunsil. You're now moving Brandon Coleman on the into the inside. You have Josh Carnley, the first round pick, going to be starting at right tackle, and I'm kind of still a little bit unsure of who's going to be starting at right guard with Sam
Yeah.
Cosmi out for Washington, whether that's Allegretti or Andrew Wiley. So there's a lot of moving pieces on this offensive line, and similar to pretty much some of these other units on this team, this starting offensive line has not played a lot of snaps together in the preseason and in practices as well, with Cosme's injury, of course, and Brandon Coleman being out for a good portion. But they're going to be tested week one against this pass rush, which I expect to be, one of the best in the league. Do you have any concerns about this matchup of Washington's offensive line going up against the Giants, pass rush, or do you feel pretty confident in what this unit can do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about it just because of the changes that, were made in the offseason, but you still are kind of like, you're on your heels a little bit because you don't know what to expect. Obviously I'll start with Josh Connolly Jr. Dominated Abdul Carter in the Big Ten championship game. No sacks, no hits, no pressures, not a single lost rep by Connolly Jr., which is outstanding against Abdul Carter's, one of his last games in college. So I think the Giants, they're going to want to attack that. You're not going to go at Laramie Tunsil or in Brandon Coleman or in Tyler Biotish.
Yeah.
Um, So they're going to expect, like, hey, they're probably going to double team Dexter Lawrence, who is the most double teamed defensive tackle in the league by a wide margin. I was looking at his stats from last year. He was double teamed like, was it 68% of the time or whatever? And he still had 9 sacks and missed the last 5 games.
Insane. Yeah.
Just absurd. He is the DT1 in the league. Sorry, Chris Jones and Jalen Hawk Tua Carter. But I think they're going to attack. They're going to attack Josh Conley. They want to see what he has, and they want to see right guard. Is it Nick Allegretti and is it Andrew Wiley? I was surprised to see Allegretti as a right guard listed. I think it should be Andrew Wiley, not only because he's played guard and I think he's the better offensive lineman, but also with Josh Conley Jr.
Yep.
Like, he's the right tackle. Andrew Wiley played all like right tackle last year. He's the guy that's been also helping out, Josh Conley Jr., aside from Tunzel doing that as well. But you know what to expect from Josh Conley Jr. playing right tackle because you played right tackle. Like, you know exactly how he's going to react, what he's going to expect. And I think that helps out Wiley at right guard, saying like, okay, I can like kind of help him out. And if, Abdul Carter does win a rep, if I like, get some chip on him or whatever, just help him out any way possible. Where Allegretti is just like, I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to win my matchup, So I think it's going to be interesting. But the Giants are definitely, I mean, if they're smart, they're going to attack that right side of the line, whether they put Burns over there and Abdul Carter and, like, do a bunch of stunts. You're going to see a lot. Yeah. If you have Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter, all three on that side of the line, you can't double team Dexter Lawrence. It's impossible. So he's going to have these one-on-ones with Tyler Biadasz that you don't like. And I think that also influences, whether you have, John Bates coming across and blocking or chipping, Abdul Carter, which, he got chipped pretty good against the Jets in preseason. So he kind of got the first taste of that. But then also the running back. You're not going to have, Krosky Merritt back there, no offense, Bill, picking up a blitz of Abdul Carter. You're going to have, Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, who have shown they can do it. So there's a lot, like, the pass rush doesn't just influence, the offensive line and what Jaden's going to do, but it can literally be a ripple effect for the entire rest of the offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch how the Giants defense is able to, scheme up different ways to put Connolly or Wiley in those awkward positions where you got one guy running at each side and, you end up blocking neither of them. So
the stunts are going to be crazy. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, but it also, I guess you could say makes things easier on that left side for guys like Tunsil and Coleman, where when you have such a mobile quarterback like Jaden Daniels, if he knows that left side is going to be reliable and that right side will be tested throughout the night or throughout the day, I guess. I mean, he's not afraid. We've seen him. He's not afraid to get out of the pocket. Now, last year, creating plays through the air out of the pocket was something we didn't see a lot of. There was definitely moments like in the Browns game where, he rolled out to his right and was able to, launch that, 50, 60-yard pass down the field to Terry.
It should have been a touchdown.
It should have been a touchdown, but we haven't seen – we know what he can do with his legs when he's out of the pocket. I'm definitely interested to see, to take that next step outside of the pocket as a passer is something I'm definitely looking at with Jaden. But at the end of the day, we have 5, and that's it. So
at least his blind side is protected.
Yes.
We have no worries about that. Kayvon Thibodeau on Laremy Tunsil should be a complete wash, non-factor. It's just
He'll
that right
side.
To
see the pressure. He'll be able to see the pressure. So it's
preferred. He's not looking over his back shoulder. He can keep his eyes downfield, but also have that, his little spidey senses going off about Abdul Carter, breathing down his neck. But he's also really, really good against the blitz when he does have pressure in his face like that. Throw against the Bengals, man, I cannot get over how like his arm is like awkwardly getting hit and stuff as he's releasing it.
But halfway through,
but it's just he was so good against the blitz. But I do agree with you. I want to see what he looks like when he's rolling out because the two that stand out was the Browns one and like the Hail Mary. Those are the 2 plays where he's like out of the pocket and launching the ball down the field that I can think of.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's switch sides of the ball now to the Giants offense going up against Washington's defense. It's year 2 under the Joe Witt system. And I think this is going to be we're going to see a good amount of improvement for some of these players that have been in the system for, a full 2 years now. I got like Quan Martin there. But overall, with this defense going up against the Giants offense, for the Giants, the offense looks a little bit different. Of course, you have Russell Wilson being the new addition at quarterback after dealing with Daniel Jones and whoever else they had. Was DeVito started a few games?
DeVito,
It
yeah.
was it was bad. Um, but you got Russell Wilson there now at quarterback, running back too. I mean, Tyrone Tracy coming off of his rookie season, year two now for him. Malik Neighbors, year two for him as well. Which Neighbors is really turning into. I mean, if he can keep that foot condition thing,
Yeah.
healthy somewhat. I don't even. Yeah, that didn't sound good, but if he can keep his health stable, he's going to be very good in this league for a long time. That offensive line is definitely going to be maybe an issue for this offense, especially if Andrew Thomas doesn't play, which apparently he didn't practice on Thursday. So that could definitely be up in the air there. But this defense for Washington is what I'm really eyeing at here in this matchup because there's so many new faces. You've got all of these kind of new guys on the defensive line: Javon Kinlaw, Dietrich Wise, Jacob Martin as well. Washington ended up keeping 8 or 9 defensive linemen, and then they kept like 6, I think, true linebackers, not counting Von Miller as well, who's another new addition.
Yeah,
There's
they
just
cut
so
a
many new
lot.
faces. Yeah, there's so many new faces on this defense. What is one you could say like new player that you're excited to see make his debut in the burgundy and gold on this defense?
Man, I want to say Kinlaw just because I see like he looks completely different. Like honestly,
Mhm.
like I remember when he was with the 49ers. Do you remember like the time where he was like sitting down with Grant Cohn?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that's so
Like,
funny.
I showed my friend Grant Combs the other day, and like his videos. It's
Dude, he's a trip.
hilarious.
He's a
It's
trip. I'll
hilarious.
never forget just because like, I like Javon Kinlaw. I mean I liked him in college. He's just like, I don't even know the word to describe Kinlaw,
Yeah,
but he's just a ruthless dude. Like he's just like the way he carries himself. Like I appreciate that, especially from a defensive lineman.
yeah.
But so I want to see like how that translates to the field because like with New York, like they just I don't know what they were doing. Like they made like he had to gain like 20 pounds and they were just trying to play him like out of position. And it's just like, of course that didn't work. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? So I'm really interested to see like what he looks like now, at his natural weight where he feels comfortable, he can do what he wants to where exactly they're gonna line him up at. Like, is he gonna be just like within like the 3 tech? Like, what exactly are they gonna do with him?
Mhm.
And then also like, are they gonna stop the run?
Yeah.
In the year 2025, can we please stop the
Yes.
freaking run?
Please.
A lot of that, like I will say, a lot of that was to the edges last year
Mhm.
and they improved that as well. I think Dietrich Wise is going to be really good. I think people are underestimating Wise's, influence on the defense, especially stopping the run on the edge. But I want to see Kinlaw just be juiced up and bring in that, intensity. That's the word I would describe Kinlaw, intense. He's a
Mhm.
very intense person. So yeah, I think Kinlaw is probably the one I'm most excited about, which is crazy because
Yeah.
we got Amos and
Yeah.
it's hard not to pick a corner. We
Mhm.
got Von Miller, but I'm gonna go Kinlaw.
Yeah. I mean, in that second preseason game when Kinlaw had that, I think it was like a tackle for loss at the goal line. I know the Bengals ended up scoring on that opening drive, anyways, but it really showed just the power that he has, and
Yeah.
like you mentioned, the intensity that he brings. And if he gets a tackle for loss or is somehow able to get a sack on that opening drive, this place is gonna go. The place is gonna go nuts.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's crazy to see. I saw him in person at training camp. He just looks different than everyone else. Like, he's just
Yeah,
like
he's huge.
bigger. He's stronger. I
he's
mean,
the
it's
defensive version of Larry Tunzel.
yes, yes, it is. That is true. So Kinlaw is definitely someone I'm excited to see. You mentioned Dietrich Wise as well, who I think is kind of flying a little bit under the radar in terms of these new
Yeah.
additions for Washington. But there's just so many dudes on this defensive line. You have
Yeah,
Johnny
Jacob
Newton,
Martin. Like we haven't
Jacob
talked about
Martin.
that.
Yeah.
I think he's a 6 sack guy.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
like just rotating it, him and Von Miller. I think Von Miller can get 5, 6 sacks. I think he had what 6 last year
Uh,
in Buffalo. I
yes,
want to say it was
sure.
5 or 6. All of them were third
Something
and
like that.
fourth
Yeah.
down sacks. That's all I
Mhm.
remember. But I think Jacob Martin is, whether it's those early down like passing situations or like if they just want him on the field, in the first, second down, which Von Miller's not going to do. I think he's going to get 6, 7 sacks this season. So if him and Vaughn can pick up that 10.5 that you lost with Fowler, and you're better in the run defense on the edge with Martin, with Wise, with all these guys, that's a win. That's a cheap, affordable Adam Peters type win.
Yeah, yeah, it's and Johnny Newton as well on the inside. He's going to be playing, maybe a little bit of a larger role, but again, you kind of replace Jonathan Allen's like playing time, with Javon Kinlaw as well. So he's probably going to, ease into, maybe being a starter again on this defensive line, but he'll be in the rotation for sure. You still have Eddie Goldman. I don't know if Goldman will be, active on game day. It really just depends on what Washington wants to do with the run game, as he's a pretty good run stopper on that interior as well. And then the linebackers, which I was shocked when they ended up keeping 6 linebackers. That was news to me. I was wondering what they were going to do with Ballore, McGee, Madrano. Last year they only kept 4, so keeping 6
Which
this
was a
year
mistake.
is huge. Like it was. You've got Madrano now and Lake Tahoe as well. I'm not sure again if you'll need a 6th linebacker on game days, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see the playing time for some of these younger guys if they hit the field. I would probably mainly see them, on special teams.
Yeah.
But
That's all Ballore is going to do for you. And
yeah,
like Dan Quinn even said it. He was like, yeah, he doesn't play linebacker.
yeah,
Like,
no, he was
which
good
is,
last year on special teams, though.
oh yeah. I mean,
One
I
of the
think
best.
special team tackling, Washington was the best team in the entire
Mhm.
league last year. Like Percy Butler was like top 10, Tyler Owens was top 10, Jeremy Reeves was up there
Yep.
like in tackles. And I think Ballore was either first or second special team tackles.
And shout out Larry Izzo.
Yeah.
He's done a great job.
Can't kick, but we can tackle.
Yeah. We got the defensive side of special teams down.
Yeah.
But the offensive
Not
side.
the offensive side. But I'm
Yeah.
glad you talking about like the linebackers. I think the one big difference in this game is, Andrew Thomas. I don't think he's gonna play. I know he didn't practice yesterday, but people I talked to said that was like the plan. They wanted him to rehab, but over this past weekend, he was starting to run for the first time.
Oh wow.
And he hasn't done any team drills. He's done a couple one-on-one, and they had a walkthrough. But like yesterday, when they were like ramping things up, he like was expected to sit in rehab. So I would be shocked. I don't know if you saw the video where he just said, if I know I can't go out there and be 100% and do what I want to do, it doesn't make sense for me to play.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'd be surprised. And for me, of course, Dietrich Wise, whatever, defensive tackles. Blitz Frankie Louvu like 10 times on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because whether it's James Hudson or I don't think they'd move Marcus and Bo to left tackle.
Yeah,
Maybe they will.
I don't know. Yeah.
But I like Bo. I think he's going to be really good. But I think he's a right tackle in my opinion. But yeah, blitz Louvu like 10 times a game. Let him get up like 3 sacks. Like that. I think that's the advantage that like a lot of people are not talking about at all.
Yeah, if New England is New York, sorry, is missing their left tackle, that's already that's kind of their like Lamborghini and like the broken down hut, but it's still it's still a huge loss, and you now have a huge advantage for this Washington defensive line. And I mentioned at the top of the show how this is an opportunity for Washington to beat up on a kind of a team that is not at the top of the league or does not have any high expectations by any means. And so with this Washington schedule, that's going to get really tough with all of these primetime games, short week already next week. It's important to get off to a right start, and the schedule makers kind of gifted one to Washington here in terms of giving them one of their easier opponents on the schedule. Let's move on now to the secondary, because this is a position that has kind of seen a lot of change over the last couple of years. No more Benjamin St-Juste and no more Michael Davis out there.
Yes,
so that is huge. Now we've got Marshawn Lattimore healthy, hopefully. And then you've got Trey Amos, the 2nd round pick rookie, and Sanders still in his 2nd year after having a great year last year, especially in that divisional game against the Lions. And then a new safety addition with Will Harris. You've got Quan Martin, who's just improved every year of his career and is now in a contract year. So it's a big year for him as well. This secondary has a lot of potential, but we haven't really seen it out of everyone yet, especially with some of these new faces, even with a guy like Lattimore too, which yeah, we kind of gave him a break last year, but now's the time to show it for him.
Yeah.
It's the time is now. So it's a huge game and a huge opportunity for the secondary going up against, Russell Wilson and Malik Neighbors. They'll be tested. They will be tested in this one. How do you think they're going to be able to respond?
I think it's gonna take a little bit for the secondary to like settle in, like maybe like a quarter or two. Like I wouldn't be surprised at like halftime it's like 10-7.
Yeah.
And we're just like, all right, guys, like like you can break away any second now. Like we're ready. Like you had
Yeah.
us. Like
Yep.
so I mean it's Malik Neighbors though, man. Like you can only do so much. They're obviously gonna move Neighbors around and just stick him on Trey Amos. Like there's no like Darius Slayton, okay. Like do whatever you want with him. But like you're not gonna just put him on like Marshawn, Lattimore. Like it just doesn't make sense. So like I think they're gonna try to move Neighbors around, do different things, and like you gotta scheme him open. Like obviously that's the rookie. You gotta, see what he's got. But I think Quan Martin too. And I don't know like how they're gonna line up, like if Amos is gonna be on the left side or if Lattimore's gonna be on the right side or what. But I hope Amos is over there on Quan Martin's side, like on the left side, depending on how you're looking at it. But so where like, he has that safety blanket, like he can play his aggressive style where he's like pressing, Neighbors at the line, he's running with them, they're hand fighting. And he's not worried like, oh no, like I can't give up the deep ball or anything like that. Like so he'll know like Quan Martin's back there to help him out if anything happens. So whether you're bracketing Neighbors, you're double teaming him or whatever, if you can just shut down Neighbors to a certain extent, like 50 yards, in my opinion, is like shutting Malik Neighbors down.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage. But like the other side is where I'm worried, like, what is Will Harris going to look like? I have no idea. I don't know. I wish I did because that's the one worry I do have. I feel really good about Marshawn.
Mm-hmm.
I feel really good about him. Like I think he looks great. I think he does look healthy. Having all that time off like helps a ton. Like I think people didn't really realize you got traded while you're hurt. You're learning a new defense while you're hurt. Oh, hey, here's Mike Evans and AJ Brown. And you're like, all right, I'm at like 75%, but I'm going to do it because like you traded for me. And I know I can be good if I'm healthy. So I'm excited to see what he looks like. Like he's like one of the biggest X factors on the team this year.
Yeah.
If Marshawn is a lockdown corner this year, bro, this defense could be disgusting.
Yeah. If he just play like a top 10 corner in the league, this defense is going to be
top
really
even
fun
12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikey's gonna pop off. Quan Martin's gonna I think Quan Martin is gonna have a Pro Bowl caliber type season. He was playing with 2 torn shoulders last year.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
insane.
bro. I've torn both of my shoulders too. And I had to sleep like this for like 3 years. Like it's not fun. Like I couldn't imagine tackling somebody at safety.
Yeah. Yeah. And
crazy.
Even at the safety position, I know Joe Wade and Dan Quinn have said it. Like they're expecting to have kind of a rotation with, Jeremy Reeves to get a lot more playing time on defense than he has in the past, which,
well,
I don't know if that will be the case, but
yeah,
maybe
they'll run heavy 3 safety sets.
Yeah.
And if so, I'm fine with it. But I think Reeves played like 10 defensive snaps last year. Like, I mean, maybe replacing Butler is an improvement. But like also did see at practice a lot of times where it was like Will Harris was like the extra corner.
Yeah.
And they only kept 5 corners. So, and Jonathan Jones is hurt. So like I know Noah Igbenogany can come in, but like there's a lot of times at practice where I was like, interesting. Jeremy Reeves is the safety with Quan. I have Will Harris like in the slot. Like, okay, like I'm watching you, Joe. Like I'm trying to learn what you want to do. So who honestly, who knows, man? Maybe they really do just rotate a ton of bodies in the secondary, which scares me.
Yeah, that could be definitely an issue, I feel like, as well in the secondary. But overall, this defense will definitely be tested a little bit in the passing game. And hopefully, the run defense is definitely much improved from last season. But that'll pretty much wrap up the preview. We've got a couple things left here. Give me one bold prediction for Sunday's matchup against the Giants, and I'll give one after.
Bold prediction. I think Washington sacks Russell Wilson 5 times.
That's good. That's good.
Which I feel like that sounds like a lot, but
with the offensive line they're going up against,
yeah,
definitely
maybe 6.
Definitely
Let me check what DraftKings got.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. All right, I think Chris Rodriguez rushes for 75 plus.
Ooh.
In this one. Which
I hope so. That would help my agenda. If they start the game and Bill Crosby-Merritt goes out there, I'm going to get flooded in my DMs.
Yeah.
So please, DQ Cliff, let Chris Rodriguez run the ball.
I think Rodriguez is going to have a major part in this game, but we shall see how it goes. All right, score predictions for Sunday. What are you thinking?
I started out 27-17 Washington, but I think New York, I think they are improved, and I just don't want to discount them too much this early in the season because it is week 1. Crazy things happen in week 1. So I'm going to say 27-20 is what I'm at right now.
Okay. I'm going to go 24-13. So
it's going to be one of those ugly numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. A lot of field goals maybe in this one, which
not by us. Yeah.
Would not be maybe great for Washington, but still.
As long as it's like 40, we're good.
Yeah. One final thing. Debo, potentially kick returner. Thoughts on that?
I mean, that's what they listed. And once again, like they did it a ton in training camp. He looked good. People are like, oh no, like he's going to get hurt or whatever. Like I get it. But like the new kickoff rule, it is so much different.
Mm-hmm.
To where, you're not flying down the field and taking these like, Brian Dawkins, Sean Taylor type hits anymore. So I think it's interesting. Like if I told you that Debo can get 3 touchdowns on special teams this season, but I'm not going to tell you when or how impactful they are.
Take it.
Yeah, I think that's worth the risk. Like, of course, 3 sounds like a lot, but even just like starting field position, I'm down for it. Like I'm down. If they're going to use him in the run game, what's the difference?
Exactly. He's going to take hits either way.
Yeah, he's on a 1-year prove-it deal. Washington has no financial ties to him. It's not like he gets hurt. Oh, we're doomed for like the next 2-3 years. Like he doesn't exist after this year if he doesn't, do well, which I think, like I said, things going to be fantastic. So you can really just drive the tread off of the tires of Debo if you wanted to, which I think he's fine with that because he knows he can do it. But I will say one thing about Chris Rodriguez. I don't think people realize exactly how good he has been. This last stat, Rodriguez Jr. last year ranked 2nd PFF's elusive rating and 5th in yards after contact among 91 running backs with 30-plus carries last season.
Very good.
So he is elusive, and if you do hit him, he's going to get a ton of yards. So Chris Rodriguez, my life is in your hands.
He did not make the 53-man roster in 2024. So him being here now is pretty crazy, but
in a former regime pick.
It's gonna be like former regime pick as well. This is Ron Rivera's legacy this is Ron Rivera's legacy throughout the Daniels era. It's just Chris Rodriguez. So and Quan Martin, I guess too. And Cosme. Yeah, but all right. Well, that'll wrap this up. Josh, where can people find your work and follow you?
Yep, A2ZSports.com. Go over to the Washington Commanders section. I mean, all of the sections, honestly. College football, we've added a ton of new teams in NFL draft stuff as well. We got some of the best in the business. People like Kyle Krabs joining. Super stoked about that. But yeah, check out the website. I'm rating all day, every day, sometimes even like 5 articles a day, and the same with the YouTube channel. Rebranded over to A2Z Sports and doing more stuff there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see your work recently, and since you've been joining, like what's been like a month ago, maybe a little bit over that.
Yeah, about like a month and a half. Yep.
Yeah, you've probably written like 20 plus, 30 plus articles at this point. Like it's been.
I'm doing 25 a week.
Oh, I bet.
I did that
That
this week.
is- All right. Well, it's been over 100 probably already.
Hey, there's gonna be a lot to talk about this season too. So
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But thank you, Josh, for hopping on this episode. Next episode will be, of course, out after Washington's showdown against the Giants on Sunday. That'll do it, though, for me here on this week's episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. I've been yours, Mason Kinnahan. See you guys in the next one. Peace.